Welcome. We are going to do a human design overview today that's going to be a little bit longer. We're going to do it in a few different parts. Part one, what is human design? Part two, we're going to teach you how you say your yes and no. Part three is going to be what is it that you see here in front of you? And part four might have some extra information in it. We'll see. Okay, so part one, what is human design? Well, human design is a person's energetic blueprints. It teaches you how to say your choice mechanism, how you make decisions based on who you are. Sometimes people say, hey, I wish I had, a user manual for this kid. Well, you can. But this is your human design. This is you. You at the most basic levels, the most fundamental levels. You before the world conditioned you to be something else. So that's what human design is reminding you to be yourself. And I'm going to point out in the third part different aspects of who you are so that you can recognize who you are, so that when traits of who you're not pop up, you're just like, oh, right. I don't I don't need to play in those little games. Katie told me that I don't got to participate in that. Hey, you already know that you don't got to participate in things that you don't want to. Um, so, what is human design? Once again, it allows you to understand how you make choices based on who you are. And up above my head, you'll see that there's the word incarnation cross. Incarnation cross could be changed directly over to the words your purpose in life. So, you are the right angle cross of planning 9, 16, 40, 37. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because why would you want to make correct decisions? It's so that you can allow your purpose to flow through you. So every chance that you get to make a decision based on who you are having the chance to have your purpose flow through you. Let's just, sorry, the example comes in part two. Um, so human design, let's repeat all that. It's your energetic blueprints, it's your user manual in life. And honestly, like, let's just say that there's these how to's or like the get quick or get rich quick things. They might work for other people, but your energy is different than other people's. So let's make decisions based on who you are instead of based on what other people want. The most easiest example that I have of conditioning is like people say, you're a girl, you should like pink. You're a boy, you should like blue. But yeah, people grow up in schools and teachers, elders expect the tiny little bodies that are so busy to sit down and learn at the same pace as everybody else. And well, then throughout our life, we grow up and move out of the house or the humble abode and we think we're free, but well, are we really though? We have to follow laws and sometimes we have expectations that we set for ourselves how we should behave. And sometimes, people expect things from us, children, spouses, friends, and it can change who we are. Trauma changes who we are. And, maybe we humiliated ourselves and that's why we decide to change or not do that thing anymore. Or maybe that person over there is doing it really good, so I'm going to change myself just to be like them so that I can try to have some of that success too. So, yeah, that's part one. What is human design? Human design just brings you back to you. That's what it is, reminding you of who you are so that you can have less frustration and less anger in life. All right, part one complete. Let's move on to part two. Part two, we are talking about how do you say your yes and no for you based on who you are, based on your energy. All right, I'm going to draw your attention to the stuff above my head. You can see my mouse It says it's hovering over strategy and authority. Everybody has a strategy and authority. But what is it? A strategy and authority means this is your choice mechanism. It's how you say your yes and no. It's how you respond to life. So I'm going to use those words interchangeably, your strategy and authority, your choice mechanism, your response mechanism. But this is how you make decisions. Your strategy and authority. And you'll hear me say sometimes, well, did you use your strategy and authority? So the jargon has been broken down, but what does it say beside those two? To respond and emotional solar plexus. We'll talk about both of those. Now, obviously, I can't talk about two things at the same time. So I'm going to talk about them in two different steps. So part 2 is 2 different steps. I do want to point out the word emotional because sometimes people get a little bit fixated on that word. It's not that you're uncontrollably emotional. No. You do express yourself, and you have a particular way you express yourself emotionally. So it's not saying that you're an emotional roller coaster. No. All right. Let's go to part 1, strategy of your strategy and authority. To respond. I love it. Waiting to respond is what it should say. Wait to respond. And this comes from this red square, second from the bottom here. This is called your sacral. And this really means everything to you, this sacral, because your sacral is like a vortex and it will pull people, places, things, and experiences towards you. By the way, this is one of those experiences. And it is for you to choose if you want to partake or not. Now, in life, we are conditioned to take the first opportunity that comes our way because, another one may not come. So we're trying to get rid of that conditioning factor. You don't have to hop on the first thing that comes your way. So that's why your strategy should say waiting to respond. Waiting. What does waiting actually mean? Well, throughout our life, we are taught that in particular situations that this is how I should act. Or if we're bored, that we should be doing something. Or if we're laying down or relaxing, we should be doing something. But that's what we're talking about here, waiting. We're not talking about sitting around and with our thumb up our pooper. No. Waiting means just stopping all of that conditioned behavior that we're used to doing in certain situations so that when something does come at you, you do have the energy to see if it's correct for you or not, or you're not distracted. So here's an example. I got this example from someone else. Let's just say that you're going along the road having a walk and then a bear comes up behind you and starts to chase you, so you're running. And I'm like, oh, hey, I'm going to run beside you and I'm going to offer you $1 million idea, but you got to implement it right now. You're like, well, Katie, I can barely answer you. Can't you see that I'm distracted by surviving? This bear's chasing me. So the reason why I said that story is because obviously you want to implement that $1 million idea, but you're distracted by something else. And waiting to respond, that's what we're talking about, is just stopping all those distractions. If you enjoy something, do it. And if you're curious about something, go engage with it to see if your body says uh-huh or ugh. You are here to wait, so that, as I said before, people, places, things, and experiences can come to you, and then you can choose from that if you want to partake or not. I asked you today if you would like to have a reading from Human Design, and you said yes. I wasn't going to do it for you if you said absolutely not. That would be an invasion of privacy. So thank you for allowing me to do this for you, and thank you for allowing yourself to have this experience come your way. Okay. Waiting to respond. Now, we have waited, and now it's time for us to make a choice. So, what does a choice sound like to you? Well, luckily, over 70% of the world is gifted with this guttural, sacral kind of sound that exists within them. Aha, that's a yes. That's a no. Or, oh, or, that's an I don't know. Or for you, that means no for now. So it's these caveman like pure sounds that come from you. Or maybe it's not even sounds at all that come from you. Maybe when, you pick up that phone call, you're just like, it's just like your body just caves in because you just don't want to experience that. Or when you're interested in something, you're like, and you get closer into it, you move towards it. So pay attention to those. What is it that your body is telling you? Is it this feeling that comes to you when something is correct for you? Is it a push away when something isn't correct? What happens? What are those guttural sounds? Maybe they're sounds like a baby, because baby sounds are very genuine and pure. Ooh, ah. When they like something, and when they don't. You can surely tell when a baby doesn't like something or does approve of something. And we are conditioned away from that. For me, it was my parents telling me to say yes and no, because ya and nah weren't proper enough in society. So, yeah, you're here to wait to respond. So, like I said, you're not disengaging with life because you're a busy bee, but you're here to, let's just say, somebody asks, hey, what's the time? And you weren't asked, hey, friend, what's the time? But I bet that you are going to be the person that looks up the time and tells them, though. That is not good, because you are distracting yourself from what you really were focused on in that moment. Okay. Sacral. I think I just messed up what I was supposed to say there, but we'll just keep moving forward. Oh, maybe you're like a disgust sigh, or like a sigh of like a sigh of relief, you know. Um those are all going to be very indicative for you of what is correct for you or not, what you have the energy for or not. Okay. So, let me give you an example of what that means. Let's just say you're lying in bed and your eyes pop open. Why? Why did your eyes pop open? What did you respond to? Did you respond to being rested enough? Did you respond to your bladder being full and you gotta go pee? Did you respond to the dog barking because you said hello? What woke you up? So let's just say it's your bladder. So you respond to removing the blankets off of you, because if you don't, then you'll surely fall out of bed or trip over them as you somehow crawl out of bed. So you respond to lifting off the blankets, and then you sit up in bed and you're like, well, actually, I'm going to be a little bit longer than I thought I was going to be. I got to use number two as well. So I'm going to bring my phone with me. I respond to the pressure down there. So I know I'm going to be a while. I'm going to check the flyers, going to check my messages, check to see. And yeah, I go to the bathroom. But along the way, and by I mean you're chilly. So you grab your house coat, you put it around you, you respond to being chilly, you respond to grabbing your house coat, and then you move towards the bathroom and you grab a drink of water unconsciously, subconsciously, and you're like, oh my god, why did I grab a drink of water? I gotta pee so bad. Why did I even stop? Well, your body was naturally moving towards something. Watch what your body naturally moves towards too, without your brain getting involved. Maybe, somebody asks you to go out and you're like, and you're already moving towards it before your brain even gets involved. You have that type of connection to your body. So, you'll notice that I haven't said that any of this response has anything to do with what's coming out of your brain. And it has nothing to do with it being white. Human design is taking the brain or the mind out of the equation and allowing our energy to speak for what's correct for us. Where's our brain got us? Where's our mind actually gotten us? So, it makes us anxious, makes us overthink, etc. So, our energy is telling us what is correct for us, if we have the true amount of energy or not. So, I go back to the point. It's not about thinking about things that you might want to think about doing and forcing that into the world, because might find out that when you try to force things out into the world, you might get angry or frustrated. All right. Let's move on to the second part. Let's just summarize part one. Part one is that you're waiting around to respond. You're having this available energy so that when you do choose to use your energy, it's there. So that you're not distracted by what's not important to you, and that you have the proper energy to get things done for what is important to you. So you're waiting to respond. You're stopping the conditioned behavior so you can allow yourself to say uh-huh or uh-uh. Because when you allow yourself to say uh-huh or uh-uh and follow through on that, you're allowing your purpose to flow through you. All right. Part two, inner authority. So strategy and authority. Solar plexus. This is a solar plexus over here. And you just have a fixed way of understanding what is correct for you in an emotional sense. Now, when a person has this defined, one tagline that I hear is, there's no truth in the now. So although your body says, uh-huh, you're going to need to get clarity on that. So, what do we even mean? There's no truth in the now. You need to make space between your original decision, the original asking of you, and the final decision making. So at least overnight. Because I'm sure when you commit to something quickly, you're just like, darn it, why did I just do that? So that's why I said earlier that you have probably learned over time that patience is key. Oh, just give me a day to think about it. I'll get back to you. Oh, just let me check my calendar. I'll get back to you. Oh, just let me go ask someone. I'll get back to you. Those are proper ways for you to handle procrastinating that. Now, when people recognize this energy in you, they want it, it's juicy. So you can tell them to wait. Now, let's just make a very big example, exaggerated example. You are being offered the job that you've always wanted. Oh my God, it's right in front of you. Um, but we just said that making decisions in the now is not a good time. But also, making decisions when there's like intense emotions attached to it is also not a good time to make decisions. So, a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, it's not a good time to make a decision. A lot of joy or bliss, it's not a good time to make a decision. Um, because you'll want to hop in and hop out at those particular points. But if you allow yourself time, you'll get to more of a neutral point so you can see things more from a clear perspective. Um, so, let me go back to that example. You are being offered the job of a lifetime. Of course, you're excited. And I just said that making a decision when you're excited or instantly is not really a good choice for you. You need to gain clarity, especially when it's such a big decision like that. You spend so much time there. Of course, you're going to have to make a correct decision for yourself. Um, so there's two different things that can happen. You can tell them to wait, and they do, and you accept the offer or decline it, or they can fall through with the offer. And obviously, you don't want them to fall through, but think about it. Let's just say that you were offered a job tomorrow, and you told your person that you work for, I'm giving my 2 weeks because I accepted a job offer today that I was offered it this morning, and I'm going to accept it now, and I'm giving my 2 weeks. Imagine that over the weekend it falls through and you've already given your 2 weeks. Or imagine the embarrassment or the backtracking that you would have to do because the other person fell through. So giving a little bit of space is actually protecting you um, as you make your decisions. So yes, that was an exaggerated example, but making a decision in the heat of the moment when things are super exciting or super blah, it's not a good time. Not a good time. All right. So, emotional solar plexus, it's talking about, let's just say, you need to get clarity. Okay. It's talking about getting clarity over time. So, let's just say you have a multitude of doors to choose from, and let's just say door number 4 of 10 doors is the most clear to you. You have to make a decision. Well, go with the one that's the most clear to you. So yes, making decisions on the up wave, making decisions on the down wave, not a good idea. Is there any other way that I can explain clarity? That's all I can think about right now. So let's give an example. Yeah, we already gave the example of having a big job offer that you've always wanted. So, okay, let's smash these two together. What is strategy and authority you need to wait to respond and gain clarity of what you've responded to? So let's just say that, nope. Is there much more clarity that you need? Uh, your body's going to tell you when it's enough. So, of course, you're going to need time to disengage with whatever you've been engaging with, but yeah, I'm just going in the wrong direction here. So, um, you need clarity. Did you say Well, make sure that that is an so that you're using your particular energy for the correct things so that you're not burnt out. Okay. Now, let me see if I've answered that all together. Strategy and authority, you need to gain clarity over the things that you've responded to. Things are coming at you in life, and you're just like a vortex. You're pulling people, places, things, and experiences towards you. And people see your energy and it's juicy, and they do want that energy when they recognize you. And it is then for you to gain clarity over what you have uh, responded. Was it an aha or Do you move forward? Do you stay stagnant? What is it that you need to do? Now, because, okay, just because you entered into the contract correctly, it doesn't mean that it'll always remain correct for you. And that's what the not self indication here above my head is saying: frustration. Frustration is like your key up level in life. Where you're frustrated in life is where you can change things so that you're less frustrated and more satisfied. So I'm going to ask you, friend, where are you frustrated in life? Okay, now it's time to gain some clarity on those things that you're frustrated about. Now, it's not for your brain to get involved and say, I got to change it now, 1, 2, 3 step plan. No, it's for you to, the next time you encounter it, to see what your energy says. You want to do it. You want to, you want to disengage. What does it say? So I've been telling you that when you are following your correct energy and allowing it to flow through you, you are allowing your purpose to flow through you as well. So sometimes people bumble about in life and say, well, I don't have a purpose in life. There's no purpose. I wonder what my purpose is. Well, it's right above my head. That's your purpose in life. Okay. Now, this little definition here, that's just some jargon, and long story short, it's just another indicator saying that um, it's really time. You just need to take your time making decisions. And it's indicating that maybe there's a lot of issues that other people have and it affects you. So the blame is on the other when things go wrong. But that also could not be true either. That, yes, let's step back from that one. Okay. Now let's go into your type. You are a manifesting generator, and manifesting generators have the capability of being so fast that they skip steps and they end up being frustrated or angry and needing to go back and pick up those steps that they missed. So it is important, once again, that you take your time, be patient. Yeah. So that is part 2. We're going to go into part 3. Part 3 here is going into all of the stuff that we see in front of me. This list of black numbers on the right side here that says personality on the top, this is a list of characteristics that does describe who you are. If I click on one, you'll see that there's words there: charisma, application, the hunter, cleansing, etc. Now, these are just attributes that do describe you, but you are more conscious of these attributes because this is what your brain thinks that you are, and only thinks that this is what exists. But there is another half. And this design side that has the red colors, the red list of numbers, this is a list of attributes that do describe you as well. And it's captured about 3 months before you're born. This is at the moment of your birth, the black numbers. Long story short, they make their way into the chart. You'll notice this 9 here is over here. You'll notice that this 19 here is over on the red side. So that's how all of the colors come into the center. They're captured at the moment of your birth, 3 months before you're born. And this is you. You are literally you are the timestamp of what time you were born at. You are an expression of that. Okay, so let's move into what this colored stuff means. Firstly, there's geometrical shapes. In these geometrical shapes, they're called centers. And these centers, they're different colors, doesn't mean anything, it just is. Now, these colored centers are who you are. It's called definition. And we make decisions based on this because it's reliable, it's consistent. So that's why we're going to talk about it more in length than the stuff that's white. Because the stuff that's white is just stuff that's inconsistent in your chart, so it's not really reliable. Yeah, it exists, it's just undefined. So it's not reliable. Once again, it's not that you're broken. It's just we can't make decisions based off of it. That's all. So let's talk about just the centers. This is the solar plexus. You have a particular way in which you express your emotions. This is the sacral. And you know when enough is enough. Over here, this is a spleen on the left-hand side. And that's about knowing what is correct and healthy for you and being able to let go of it when it is no longer serving you. You have a consistent access to willpower. You have a fixed way in which you are going to express your direction, love, and identity in life. And you also have a way in which you are particular in how you express things in life or manifest them out. Okay. Notice how these are like just half the numbers here. Well, when you have half a number and a half a number that happen to meet, it makes a channel. So these are gates. This is a channel. This is a channel. This is a channel. This is a lot of channels together. And this is a channel. I'm just pointing them all out for you just in case you miss them, because you have a lot of definition. This is consistent life force energy. And I'm going to explain them for you. Now, this here is the channel of discovery, a design of succeeding where others fail, and it goes backwards too, a design of failing where others succeed. So I'm sure you've seen it in your life where, you within the network or naturally you see yourself succeed and others fail, and it just happens to be that it's the opposite for you too. So don't be hard on yourself because it's just an experience within your life. But right here, the 29 does have the capability of the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. I wonder if you ever say that or communicate that or naturally just move in that direction. But I was telling you earlier that you have the capability of saying yes too often, even when it doesn't suit you. So it's very important for you to start to listen to that sacral, because that sacral is where that that response comes from, that juicy life force energy, that power. So it really knows what is correct for you. Ow. Ooh, ah. So I invite you to start listening to those. Now, this channel over here, your body just moves within the community. You're all about the community, a design of a part seeking a whole. This is about, the police forces, the firemen, the hostels, the shelters, not, making sure the community's looked at. Okay, not. It's just making sure the community is being looked after, and that, a community can be a community, but there is each a member of that community, and there's, one within the whole, the part seeking the whole, or the whole seeking the part. So it's literally back and reversed as well. So, it's just making sure that no one's left behind. It's all about that community. It's about supporting the tribe. It's your life force energy really does move that way. Now we can go to this thing, and you're like, why do you keep on calling it a thing or a big set of channels? Look at here. It has the channel of awakening. You have the 20 going to the 10. Then you have the channel of perfected form. So you have 10 going down to the 57. You have the channel of exploration, which is 10 going down to the 34. You have the channel of charisma, the 34 to the 20. And then you have the channel of the brainwave, which is the 20 to the 57. And the channel of power. Right here. That is so many different channels there, but it just looks like somebody's sitting there on or a person dancing. So, this is a channel of integration, or the circuitry of integration. It's all about power. It's all about perfected form. It's all about awakening. A commitment to higher principles. It's talking about how you have charisma, where thoughts must become deeds. So I bet your brain just keeps on rolling around and around and around, and you might feel like you have to make them come out into fruition. But remember, just because you feel the pressure mentally, it doesn't mean that you have to engage in it. Your energy is going to tell you what is correct for you to engage in. Now, let's go through this list top to bottom. The channel of awakening, a design of commitment to higher principles. I mean, it's talking about behavior and talking about being in the now. So behavior in the now. So it's committing to those higher principles through that behavior in the now. The channel of perfected form. So it's going from the 57 to the 10. Once again, it's behavior in the now, but it's all about alertness. So it's all about, it says it here, design of survival. What do you need to be alert to that will keep you alive? The channel of perfected form. Now, people just might step in line or feel like they have to step in line and be perfect around you because of that. I know that I used to take advantage of that because my siblings would act perfect around me because they knew that they would get great benefits if they did. They get to play all of my electronics or whatever. All right, so the channel of exploration, 10 to 34. Once again, it's all about your behavior and it's all about your power. And it says a design of following one's own convictions. So you are going to follow what is correct for you, and you're going to be on this journey of your, some would say it's stubborn, but no, you're just following what is correct for you because ultimately it will keep you safe. Whatever you are naturally exploring, following your own convictions, people aren't going to be able to tell you what to do because at the deepest levels that it's going to keep you safe. Channel of charisma, I explained it a little bit, but this also has to do with, power in the now. Think about that. You have this power in the now. You can't force this to happen because the now can only happen right now. And you're like, well, obviously, but this is where it could be a full room of chattering voices, like a hum, a murmur going on there. But for some reason, you heard the person on the other side of the room say that one thing that you needed to hear so that you could hear it and come over and support it. So it's about being in the now. You hear things, you see things, you feel things more than other people in the now. It's just what it is. Now, a channel of the brainwave, a design of awareness, 20 to the 57. Um, Now, what I had in my mind about this is that my man has this, and it's he had it imposed on him. So I feel like this here, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you're able to change people's brain waves on how they think about something. Like they're thinking on your wavelength, or they're thinking on your brain wave. You think a certain way, and people might get on board with you when you're naturally just acting yourself um, through that awareness of yours that you have. Now, when people experience this from you, maybe people might be saying that maybe you're trying to impress your point of view or push your point of view on them. That's the not self expression in my opinion. Remember, not self is frustration. And the channel of power, design of an archetype. You are showing people how to be human. How did that end up being so much smaller? There we go. Yeah, so um channel, you just have this power within you, and people like that juicy power of yours, and it's all about yeah, you really showing what it's like to be human. So I have the design of the archetype as well. um Now here, you can kind of explain these together but not. They're nothing alike, but this is a part of the collective circuit. This is a part of the collective circuit. This is a part of the collective circuit, meaning that you do have a connection to the whole. This here is tribal, and um, it's yeah, all about the tribe. Sorry, I was just going. I was already just thinking about this one. This one is very individualistic, so it's very empowering and inspirational when you're acting yourself and being yourself and following your own convictions. Now, this here, channel of the wavelength, a design of talent. You have a talent that you've been mastering over life, and it is for you to, you know, go more in depth, seek more skill, um, gain more talent, go deeper, repeat, repeat, repeat. And I wonder what that is for you. When you are being yourself and, naturally following your own convictions, being an archetype of power, being aware in the now, supporting the tribe. This is when people will get on your wavelength. It's about people being on your wavelength over time. People won't automatically get on your wavelength because it's about recognition. So that's why I bring this up here, is because this channel is all about recognition too. You can't just be a leader instantly. This is a channel of the alpha for good or bad, the design of leadership. Now, this is through your demonstration over time, through your wavelength, through being a discoverer, through all of these 7 channels that we were taught, 6 channels that we talked about. That is what you're going to be a leader of, and that can only be demonstrated by you expressing you over time, and that's when people will recognize you as the alpha or the influencer. Now, right here, you it says it down here in the explanation, waiting as an active state of awareness, but is talking about the fundamental attunement to natural rhythms. So, you might be good at like hitting the green lights everywhere, but you just know where the details are and they fall into place. Like for instance, one of my friends knew that I would find him the shortest way to get through the city, so he called me and asked me for that. You do have a lot of ideas. Um, you are able to sit down and focus. And okay, okay. Let's cut this off. Let's go into part 4. You know what's cool? Our energy changes when we sleep, and you're a projector when you sleep, and you're just absorbing all of this energy when you sleep. And I wonder if you even feel like yourself sometimes when you wake up, because you might be sleeping with the puppers or the hubby. I wonder if you get a better sleep alone. Like knowing that everything is okay in your life, right? I wonder if. Oh, so, okay, this here is called your Chiron return. It happened when you're 49 years old. Now, it would have not happened at the exact age of 49. It would have happened maybe at like maybe 47 and a half or like 48 and a half. Um, so your recognition and awareness is okay. I wasn't getting into this. There's just going to be a lot of change since then. You're thrusted back into life around that age, and you'll be learning about transformation, acceptance, and money. You are going to be in a place of management. You are going to have these great ways of being organized, and you will be able to. Oh, where's the rest of it? And you'll be able to recognize who has the talent or not. Does that resonate with you? So let's go back to your chart before I put you laying down. So it says that in order for you to be successful, your environment needs to be that of a hermit. So that means like drama free, peaceful, and for people to call you out on your talent. And the type of people that you need to be around to be successful are role models. So people who have made their mistakes, trial and error, but are role models of what they have stepped into. All right, I'm done. Thank you for listening. Do you have any questions? The point of this experience was to tell you how you say your yes and no, and and gaining clarity over that is what you need to do.